You know, life has a funny way of throwing curveballs at us. I don't know if you can relate or not, but it seems like we work really hard, we build our lives, and then sometimes, somewhere along the way, we realize that there's a question we've been putting off for far too long. A question that maybe, just maybe, has been nagging at you for years in the back of your mind. Maybe it's about God, maybe it's about the Bible, or it's just a sense that there's something more. If you're like a lot of guys I know, you might be thinking, man, I'm in my 50s, maybe it's your 60s. I should have figured this out by now, right? You feel a little bit embarrassed maybe? Like you're the last one to the party? Well, let me tell you something. You're not alone, and it's positively, absolutely never too late. I've been in ministry for over 20 years, and in that time, I have helped countless people navigate questions like these. Because I didn't grow up going to church and I came to faith later in my life, I think it might help me relate, among other things. I know what it feels like to think that you're the only guy in the room that doesn't know what the pastor's talking about. I've been in that spot where I was too embarrassed to ask people questions about the Bible or about God. So trust me when I tell you, it's not too late. And I'm really glad that you're here. You might not know it yet, but you're tuning in to a pretty unique ministry that's full of some amazing people who have been right where you are, and they get excited at the idea of getting to know somebody like you. So maybe you've been around church a bit, maybe you went with the family when you were a kid, or as an adult, you know, your wife or your kids, whatever, went every Sunday. You've heard the stories, you've heard some of the verses, but it just never really clicked. It was kind of like, I don't know, it's like background music playing, I guess. But now there's something shifting. There's something different going on inside of you. And maybe you're looking at your kids growing up. Maybe it's just the idea that you've faced some really tough times. Or maybe you're just growing and changing as a person, and you're in a spot that's new and you're wondering what all of this God and Bible stuff is all about. Suddenly, those old questions that you had kind of clinging on in the back there, they don't seem so distant anymore. But that's usually about the time that the old buts kick in. But I don't know where to start, or but I don't want to sound stupid, or but who do I even ask? It's like trying to learn a new language when everybody else around you seems kind of fluent in it. I can understand, I've been there. You feel like you're way behind. And honestly, you need to know that's a normal feeling. But it's also a feeling that you're gonna have to push past. We guys, we're good at building stuff, fixing stuff, getting the job done, right? We're not always so good at asking for help, especially when it comes to something as personal as faith. It's like admitting that we just don't have all the right answers, right? And that can be tough. But listen up. I want to let you in on a little secret. Lean in. This is a good one. This is a good one here, right? Nobody has all the answers. Not really. We're all on a journey. And this journey that we're on, it doesn't have an age limit. It's not a race, it's a conversation. And God, He's not standing there with a stopwatch judging how long it took you to get here. He's honestly just glad you're here. Think of it like this. You walk into a tool store. I don't know what your brand is. Are you a Harbor Freight guy, a Home Depot, a Lowe's? Do you go to one of them fancy woodworking shops with them expensive tools? I don't know what your flavor is, but you walk in and you ask the guy behind the counter a question, and he doesn't laugh. He just helps you find what you need. That's how God is. You can start to learn to think about God like an amazing helper that's actually in your corner and wants to help you. Well, there's a story in the Bible in Matthew chapter 20 that really speaks to this idea that we're talking about here. Kind of feeling like you're coming late to the party. It's a story that's called the parable of the workers in the vineyard. And it's a story that Jesus told to help people just like you understand what God is really like. And I want to share it with you. So if you have a Bible, you can bust it open and follow along, or just open it up after this and go and reread this parable for yourself. But the parable goes like this from Matthew chapter 20. It says, "For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early one morning to hire workers for his vineyard. He agreed to pay the normal daily wage and he sent them out to work. So at 9 o'clock in the morning, he was passing through the marketplace and he saw some people standing around doing nothing. So he hired them, telling them that he would pay them whatever was right at the end of the day. So they went to work in the vineyard. At noon and again at 3 o'clock, he did the same thing. At 5 o'clock that afternoon, he was in town again and saw some more people standing around, and he asked them, 'Hey, why haven't you been working today?' And they replied, 'Well, because nobody hired us.' So the landowner tells them, 'Well then, go out and join the others in my vineyard.' That evening, he told the foreman to call the workers in and pay them, beginning with the last workers first. When those hired at 5 o'clock were paid, each received a full day's wage. When those hired first came to get their pay, they assumed they would receive more, but they too were paid a day's wage. When they received their pay, they protested to the owner, 'Those people worked only 1 hour, and yet you've paid them just as much as you paid us, who worked all day in the scorching heat.' And he answered one of them, 'Friend, I haven't been unfair. Didn't you agree to work all day for the usual wage? Take your money and go. I wanted to pay this last worker the same as you. Is it against the law for me to do what I want with my money? Should you be jealous because I'm kind to others? So those who are last now will be first then, and those who are first will be last." Man, I love this story. This is a glimpse at what God's like. He's generous. He doesn't care if you show up at the crack of dawn or 5 o'clock, right? He doesn't care if you show up at 10 years old or 13 years old or 57 years old. He just welcomes you when you get here. That parable is for you. That parable was for me. And he's telling us it's never too late. All right, I want to give you 3 steps to get you going. Let's face it, if you're a guy, you're going to need some action steps. First off, let's ditch the idea that you need to be an expert overnight. This is not about memorizing every verse or knowing all the answers. It is about taking some small steps. Start with simple questions. God, are you there? What's this Bible thing about? Just talk to him. He's listening. You don't have to use fancy words. You can just be real. So, step 1, start talking to God. The second thing I want you to do is find a starting point in the Bible. The book of Luke is a great place to start. It's straightforward and it tells the story of Jesus. You can read a little bit each day, and even if it's just a few verses, okay? And it'll get you started. I actually taught all the way through the book of Luke in a daily Bible podcast that I do every morning right here on our YouTube channel, which, by the way, you should probably remember to hit the subscribe button and click the little bell to make sure your alerts are turned on so you can stay plugged in and all that stuff, right? So I'll put the links to the first few videos in that Luke series that we did. I'll put those down in the description below, and just make it super easy for you to find that the beginning of that series and get started with the book of Luke. So step 1 is start talking to God. Step 2, start reading the Bible or watching our Bible podcast. And number 3, let's do this. Find someone you trust to talk to. Maybe it's a friend, Maybe you know a pastor that you're comfortable talking to. Maybe it's even somebody from an online community like ours here. Somebody that won't judge you, that will listen honestly. If you don't have somebody like that in your life right now that fits the bill, then I want to invite you to reach out to us. You can shoot us an email at our email. It's yourjesusjourney@gmail.com. yourjesusjourney@gmail.com. Let us know that you're looking for somebody to connect with and study the Bible and learn, and we'll sort out a plan to get plugged in with you and help you meet some of the great people that are a part of this ministry. And honestly, they're people that would love to get to know you. You know, you've built a life. You've worked hard, you've taken care of your family. Maybe you never had a family, you took care of your dog, I don't know. But here's the thing. It's okay to take some time for you. It's okay to take some time to invest in yourself, to explore those questions that have been lingering, that have been hanging out in the back of your mind. It's also okay to admit that you don't have all the answers. It's okay to start over. And honestly, if we really think about it, you're not starting over, you're just starting a new chapter. God is inviting you into a relationship. He's inviting you to start a conversation with Him, join Him on a journey. And He's not waiting for you to be perfect. He is waiting for you to be real. He's waiting for you to just be yourself. Actually, right now. It's a pretty cool thing when you stop and think about it. All right, let me lean in here and make sure you're paying attention. So here's the deal. You're gonna need to take those first 3 steps. You're gonna need to ask that first question and talk to God and get past the weird, I don't know what I'm supposed to do and how am I supposed to talk thing. Like, just get over it, give it a shot. You're gonna need to open your Bible, plug into the podcast. You're gonna need to find somebody to talk to. You're not too old, you're not too late, and you're not alone, but you do need to take some action. So you're gonna have to push past the awkwardness. You're gonna have to push past some of the embarrassment and uncomfortableness and put your big boy pants on and just get over it. So the truth is, if you've made it this far in life, you've done a lot of hard things. You've pushed through a lot of uncomfortable situations. You've learned a lot of new things over the years. And this is something else that's new that you can learn, that you can get through. So let me know in the comments below what questions you have. We're in this together, and remember, it's never too late to start a relationship with God and start actually embracing the journey, learning the Bible and learning what does it mean to actually follow Jesus as a disciple. Super glad you're here. Can't wait to get to know you. We'll see where it goes. Maybe this is the right place for you to plug in and grow. Maybe this is just a kick in the butt you needed to get plugged in at your local church that you go to in your community. Whatever the case, I'm happy you found us. I'm excited to hear how it goes for you. Let us know. And hey, if you want to learn more about our exciting out-of-the-box ministry, then head on over to our website, yourjesusjourney.com. If you want to learn how to avoid reading the Bible like a boring instruction manual and start seeing it as an epic story that it is, grab our free ebook. It's called Stop Reading the Bible Wrong, and it gives you 7 strategic shifts that change everything. So you just go to the website, click that free button at the top, and we will get that book zapped right on over to you. Look forward to hearing from you, and I'll be back here soon with another video from wherever we are out there. All right, if you made it this far and you're still watching here at the end of the video, I want to give you a little tip, little insider secret. It's not that secret, but maybe you wouldn't know about it unless you got to this spot. On our website, which is yourjesusjourney.com, if you look right there near the top of the page, there's a thing that says Join the Daily Bible Podcast, and then there's another button that says Book a Chat. Those 2 buttons are sort of your great next steps, like take action kind of things to get to know us a little bit better, to get more plugged in with our ministry. The Book a Chat feature in particular will take you to my personal calendar, and you'll see some time slots on there. And if you would like to just connect and talk to a pastor that is just a pretty regular person, and share a little bit about where you're at, or have, if you have questions you want to ask, or you just want to learn more about maybe getting involved with this ministry in a group or a study, or maybe you just want to talk about life. You can jump on there and hit that book a chat button and pick a spot that works for you, and we'll jump on a Zoom, and instead of me looking at a camera, we'll look at each other, and maybe we'll just end up being friends. Who knows? But I just want to make sure you guys know that that is an option, and it's there, and it's free. It just takes time, takes effort, a little bit, not a lot, but it takes a little bit of effort. But if you put in a little bit of effort, I'll put in a little bit of effort, and I'll meet you right back where you're at. So anyways, just want to make sure you guys know that's there. Have a fabulous day or night or whatever it is, and I'm gonna make some more videos here in the days to come, and who knows where we're gonna be. Right now we're in Louisiana. I think we're headed to Mississippi, and then maybe up into Oklahoma and back to Texas. We're bouncing all over a bunch of places that are brand new to us. We don't normally ever go down into this territory. We like to boondock when we travel, and stay off the grid and unplugged in wide open spaces and state and kind of, I don't know, like BLM land or state land. And as we get further south and east, there is a lot less of that to come by. It's also super hot. And you probably don't know, but my wife is from Canada, and I originally am from North Idaho, like 30 miles from Canada. And the two of us, we're pretty much northern climate people. And so when it starts getting into the 70s, 80s and up, and then super high humidity, we start to melt. So we've got a few more stops down here on the southern tour. And then we're gonna start hightailing it north before we sweat into a puddle. More information than you needed. Probably more information than you wanted. We'll see you again from wherever we are out there.